Hello, Humpty Dumpty Nuts, What Nuts, and everybody in between. It is Wednesday, February 26th in the United States and Canada, and we are going to give you a show called What Chaos. It's presented by Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code What Chaos so you can get $50 instantly when you play $5. Prize Picks, run your game. Hi, everybody. I'm David Bean. I'm sitting beside Pete Blackburn, and across the room is Sean DePaz. It's Jersey Day in the lovely state of Massachusetts.
Is that because you're wearing a Seth Jones jersey to show support for a guy who complains to the media?
Yeah, I don't know if this is... In defense of Seth Jones, I don't think that he called for a press conference after that game. They lost. The team only scored one goal, so they say, okay, we'll make him available. Mm-hmm. And there was a whole can of worms that emerged from that, and we will get into that along with many, many other things. Sean went micro-viral in Western Canada yesterday.
Oh.
That is... Are you aware of that?
No.
Oh, it was the best.
What did you do, Sean?
It had 44 likes.
Nice.
We'll get.
We'll talk about it, but like a lot of responses and a lot of quote tweets.
Yes, a lot of engagement.
I've noticed this actually from you. You talk about likes, or you just consider likes more than... I've never thought about likes. If I could do something with 1,000 likes... And if it's only got like 2 retweets, like what a waste. Shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like likes are the likes and retweets are the barometer for whether or not something's viral.
This guy's anti being liked.
Yes.
You'd rather be feared.
Yes. If they could add...
Keep your likes. I'd rather be feared. Add a fear button.
I'm not going for laughs. I'm going for gasps. Pete, why don't you tell the lovely folks on the show today?
I would love to do just that. Today on the show... Hey, guess what? Everyone hates their teams. People were talking shit yesterday, so we will get into that. It's ad week. It's ad week on the podcast. It's not podcast week. It's ad week. The Sabres are hot and insane trade rumors. We're going to get to all that today. It's going to be a very fun show. So stay tuned. We're going to hit a lot of teams, a lot of topics, a lot of rumors. It's going to be fun.
Yes. So many wonderful things to hit. And yes, I'm wearing the Seth Jones jersey, but we'll start with Luke Schenn because the Nashville Predators are not getting any better. They have lost 2 games in a row. In fact, they have scored just 1 goal over their last 2 losses. They were shut out 5-1 against the Devils recently on Sunday. And then Tuesday night, they lost 4-1 at home to the Florida Panthers. After the game, Luke Schenn commenting on the play of his team.
I mean, we played with passion. I mean, obviously, you don't even really know what to say anymore as far as, the overall team game. Nothing's easy, obviously. I don't think I've ever been a part of a group where you literally can't score goals. I mean, obviously, sometimes you're giving up a lot or offensive game's not there, but at least, you catch the odd break and get the puck in the net. And it's been hard to come by, but if there's one thing to take out of it, out of the third game is that, we had some passion, and obviously tried to do the best we could sticking up for each other. And that's pretty much all there is to say about that, I guess.
Okay, so at least he's trying to put a positive spin on it. Yeah. The headline is, we literally can't score goals. Never been on a team like this that literally can't score goals. Bummer when the team's whole offseason was like, let's get guys who can score
Oops,
goals.
all goals.
Oops, all goals plus Brady Shea.
Yeah. I also have to call into question whether he knows what literally means because they scored a goal last night.
They did score a goal, so he's exaggerating. And I'll tell you who else scored a goal. Seth Jones for the Chicago Blackhawks. And the Blackhawks are in a bad way. obviously. They've lost 7 of 8. They have just 4 wins in their last 17 games. They absolutely stink. They're not Sharks bad, but at least the Sharks are fun. The Blackhawks are not fun. It doesn't sound like anybody is having any fun. And after the game, the only goal scorer for the Blackhawks was made available to the media, which makes sense. It just so happens that that goal scorer, who now has 7 goals on the season, so put some respect on Seth Jones's name, is somebody who is on record as not wanting to be on the team and who wants out. So when he was asked about the play of the team and how they're doing, I don't think that he's out there trying to MF anybody, but he wants out for a reason, which is that the team is bad and doesn't win. He's obviously a big part of that. But here is how he answered questions about the team's play.
Refusing to play simple and turning pucks over, not just forwards, it's everybody. Defensemen, we weren't very good on the breakouts tonight. And like I said, so he's got to stand on his head to even, we have no business being in that game.
Why do you think it's happening? Or obviously you guys are, we put a lot of thought and work into this, but what needs to change for this ever to, to right itself?
I don't know. I think we're the exact same team right now as we were at game 1. And I think it's pretty evident out there. We haven't made any strides to be a better, more simple hockey team, And it shows, we don't get a lot of wins because of that.
Is this kind of an opportunity to gauge that since you started here and now 60 games in almost you're back here again?
Well, this is in almost 4 years of, bottom of the league. So it's not just this year, for me at least.
We do have a super chat from Clubbers Till We Die, which is amazing because you're paying for me to say this stat. It was in my notes. I was going to get to that, so shout out you. The Blackhawks were out attempted in this game, 93-39, which is absolutely horrible. That Seth Jones stuff, though, is we want athletes to be honest, and the reporters were giving him an opportunity to just merely keep it at what a disappointing season this has been, because they went out, they signed Tyler Bertuzzi, they signed Teuvo Teravainen. They really had designs on taking a step forward this year, and they haven't. They've been horrible. Jones reminds the questioner, though, that I'm not really just talking about this season. I'm talking about since I have been here. It is year 4 for him. It's year 3 of this contract, which obviously has not gone well. But the whole Blackhawks thing has not gone well for the last 4 years. So honest words from Seth Jones. I just think the timing of, not they should be hiding this guy from the media, but I do kind of say to the Blackhawks, what do you expect? He said on the record, I want to win. That's not happening here. Mista, get me out of here.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with anything that he's saying because, it's most of it's probably true. But this is coming from a guy who already has one foot out the door, and that's kind of the problem that I have with it. Because if you're in that room and you're hearing that from a guy, you want it to come from a guy who you feel like is in the fight with you. And I just, Seth Jones, at this point, you kind of have to question whether what he's saying is selfishly motivated, like to accelerate a trade, get himself out of there, or whether it's just because, I'm not going to be here, so fuck all these guys, fuck all this shit. I'm done. I'm so sick of it. Or if it's genuinely meant to say, shit needs to change around here, and if I am going to stay, then somebody's got to start speaking up. But given the timing of it all, for him to wait until after he puts in his official trade request through the media, it doesn't really, I don't want to say it rubs me the wrong way, but it's, you question the intentions of it, and you question how much it's actually going to mean to anybody within that organization.
Yeah, I don't think he expects this to yield any positive turn for the Blackhawks, because I want to say, I don't want to say better leaders than him than have tried, but Nick Foligno has tried everything. And the guys that are there have tried everything. You saw Taylor Hall crying after the Winter Classic. They all want it bad. And I do believe that Seth Jones has been one of the people who have wanted it bad. I think that clearly he's reached a point where he's this isn't going to change. And he's probably thinking about next year, the year after. He's 30 years old. a very old 30 because he came into the league young and he plays an absolute ton of minutes. So I understand why his head is where it is, but I agree with you that this was probably more of a message to Kyle Davidson than it was to his teammates. Because he said to, I believe it was Ben Pope, right? That I think it was Ben Pope, that like, we're talking about the money thing. I know that's what kind of makes it tough, but we're trying to figure that out. This might be him saying to Kyle Davidson, figure it out quicker, because I'm not going to, nobody can improve this situation, but I don't know. I could help make it a little worse having somebody, a big money player, a popular guy there, not being too happy.
Yeah, it's just, I also think that it has some, we're all looking for the guy who did this energy to it too, where like, yeah, he's not throwing anybody under the bus, but he's saying like, he may not throw the players individually under the bus, but like he is saying they're not playing a simplified game. They're playing kind of stupid and trying to do too much. But like he's a big part of that. And he's a guy making $9.5 million. He's a veteran who's supposed to be kind of leading by example and being like a vocal leader on that team. And you haven't seen it until now. And again, his trade request is already in. So like you just would have liked to see it a little bit earlier, and you'd like to see a little bit more, I guess, accountability from his end before you had to question whether he was doing any of this just to get out of town.
Since in the last 5 games, do you know who leads the Blackhawks in goal, or the last 6 games, I should say? You know who leads the Blackhawks in goals?
Is it Seth Jones?
No, but it's very close. It's Ryan Donato.
Okay.
Or I should say, yeah, it is 5 games. Seth Jones has 2 goals. One behind Ryan Donato, who leads the team with 3. So Craig Smith also has 2 goals. The fuck is happening?
Yeah, what
in
is
Chicago?
I do have to mention 93 shot attempts for the Utah Hockey Club last night. On the other end, Connor Bedard had 0 shot attempts in that game.
Connor Bedard had 0 shot attempts, but to do a little bit of hit chat, did you see the Mikhail Sergachev?
Oh, no.
Oh, I mean, no one's a bigger... There it is right there. Sergachev jersey. Paid my hard-earned money for it. I love Mikhail Sergachev. On the very same play, he high-sticked Bedard in like the chin-ish area, we can say, Sean?
I don't think he actually high-sticked him, but he got his stick up pretty close to his face.
So something that could have been called, but whatever. If you're going to,
it would have been the wrong call if they had called it in that. But the boarding would have certainly been the wrong call.
And then throws him into the boards head first. Connor Murphy comes over and is like, "Hey, what do you think you're doing here?" And just kind of pins him. The only penalty called was on Connor Murphy.
Yikes!
It was
yikes.
Not good. It was pretty bad.
Like
especially
we often think that Connor Bedard finds himself in fuck this shit moments. That would be a huge fuck this shit moment for me if I were Connor Bedard.
Well, speaking of fuck this shit moments from Connor Bedard, I thought you were going to say, did you see the footage of him in the penalty box during that game last night? Did you end up seeing that?
I just saw, there was like 30 seconds. I only watched 5 seconds of it.
Okay, yeah. Well, the 30 seconds were all the same thing. It was him just looking like he wanted to die the entire time and just like so sick of his entire life. And like if you were going to do a top 15 rankings of players that look like they wanted to die during a game, I'm sure 14 of them would be Quinn Hughes. But that one might be number 1 because it was like you said, it was like 30 seconds long, and it was him just being like, fuck, I hate this. So like Connor Bedard is going through it as well.
So we famously were well ahead of the Seth Jones trade stuff by
a year,
maybe even over, like slightly more than a calendar year ahead of it. I know that people joke about it. At some point, do you think other guys start saying, if you could, would not hate being moved? And does that list at some point end up having Connor Bedard on it?
I mean, I'm not going to go that far yet. I mean, we're a year and a half plus into Connor Bedard's career in Chicago. Like, you obviously want to see things start turning around. But at the very least, I think they need to have some direction and some progress forward. And if that doesn't happen in the next year or so, you're playing with fire with some of those young guys who you want to be part of your future, whether it's Alex Vlasic, whether it's Connor Bedard. Like, we've heard Vlasic be very outspoken about how frustrating the experience is in Chicago, and not so much from Bedard because he doesn't speak as freely and as candidly as Vlasic does, but he's thinking all the same things. And like, those are your two biggest pieces right now that you're building towards, plus Nazar. Like, you have to keep them at least a little bit satisfied with a taste of success and start building towards it. I think the first step is getting a coach. Maybe the second step, if you want to consider the front office and making a change there. But they absolutely need leadership change there at higher levels, and they need better players. Like, it's just what's going on right now is so sad and so toxic.
Mitch Marner, we've talked about for them. Mikko Rantanen reportedly has been offered a deal by Carolina that is in the $13 to $14 million a year range. I think if you're Chicago, you tried to get one of those two in the offseason. I initially started with keeping Marner off my list because I just didn't know what the makeup and how that would all fit there. You nailed it. You just need good players, and you've got some coming. You've got like Levshinov maybe next year will be his first year, but Sean, you know better than anybody. You trying to build your operation around a rookie defenseman or a really young defenseman, you need more than just that. You need veterans, and I like the veterans that they have as people, and I think that Nick Foligno definitely can still play, but they just need I feel like to some degree they do have quality, like leadership. They do have quality. Do they have quantity? Good players, they do have quality to some degree. Do they have quantity? So that's what it's going to be about in the offseason. But man, like, I think the Seth Jones thing needs to end as soon as it can.
Well, I mean, that's apparent, and I think it speaks to like a bigger thing. And you kind of mentioned this earlier with the Sharks. Like, the Sharks are a bad young team that's having some fun, and they like to be around each other, and you don't get any of that vibe from the Chicago Blackhawks. Like, they need to get better players. I think they need to get more leadership, and they need to focus on repairing vibes there this offseason as well, because at the very least, if you're not going to be a good team or be a contending team, the young guys that you're building around and want to be a part of your future, you have to make sure that they enjoy coming to the rink every day. And I do not think that many of the guys in that locker room enjoy coming to the rink every day.
Good question from Kelly. What free agent is going to willingly go to Chicago at this point? I understand the sentiment behind that, but this is very dramatic because they're
big market, like big city, like they're going to have money.
Yeah.
They're a destination. They still are.
I will remind you that Zdeno Chara turned down more money from multiple teams to sign with the Boston Bruins when the Boston Bruins were bad. Mm-hmm. And a vision was explained to him, and obviously a captaincy was given to him, which was very important. But there is stuff about this that players can believe in and players can see. I mean, I always think of ego when it comes to this, where like, that team sucks because they don't have me.
Yeah.
And once I'm there, they're probably going to be a lot better because, I don't know, somebody who's been on mostly good teams like a Mitch Marner will be like, oh, well, once we get there, we'll probably make the playoffs. Because I always make the playoffs.
And if you're like a Mitch Marner or you're a Rantanen and you see like the opportunity to get in on the ground floor of something and be like one of the guys. And yeah, like they've been the guys in Colorado and in Toronto, but not in a way where like they're like, I don't know if that's right, but like not in a way where like they are a centerpiece. Like, I guess Mitch Marner and Rantanen were kind of centerpieces, but like there were bigger fish in front of them. What's up?
They've never been top two on their team.
Yeah.
I mean, Marner is iffy, I guess you could say, but like Rantanen obviously behind McCarr and McKinnon. I mean, I guess now you could say he's top two, but
yeah, I would just say like overall, the state of the Blackhawks right now is not like, I don't think it's still a destination for a free agent.
Oh, definitely. And they're becoming, for me, because like last year, the Blue Jackets were kind of we just want something good to happen to this team. And we'd want to stop hearing bad stuff about players wanting out or like obviously like the Line A stuff was a big bummer. And then you get hit with the number one team on our can something good happen to this team list. How's the worst possible thing happen to them? And this year, they're through heart and through good coaching, and they're just through a lot of young talent that they have. And obviously Sean Monahan and Werenski, they've become a really good, really fun team. This year, the Blackhawks are like my Western Conference version of what the Blue Jackets were for me last year, where I was like, can we get a good week for these guys? Can we get some news that comes out about these guys that is cool? Can Connor Bedard go on some streak that's like even a stupid cherry-picked stat where we're like, wow, that's the best week by a second-year player in the Western Conference?
They need to give him a framed photo like they gave Kevin Lankinen.
Yes, can we get a Kevin Lankinen week out of Connor Bedard? Next year, I want to be talking about the Blackhawks in some sort of, hey, isn't it great that shit's over kind of way? And I don't think it's impossible.
I mean, if I was in charge of the Blackhawks right now, I think my first order of business would just be giving David Carl a blank check. I would do it. I absolutely would do it.
Same. And that's another one that you've kind of had to talk me into. I did not want David Carl I mainly didn't want him for the Sabres, but I also didn't want him for the Blackhawks. Like I wanted something that was a known commodity, even if its ceiling was much lower. Like, this is gross.
Like a Lindy Ruff.
Like a Todd McClellan.
Yeah.
I feel like
Todd McClellan's done great in Detroit, but like Todd McClellan is more of a coach built for a team ready to compete.
Yeah,
definitely.
That's what I was going to say. I feel like the Sabres at the beginning of this year were in a very different place than where the Blackhawks are now. Like, even if it's not going to be the guy that's going to win you a cup, a guy that can develop your young guys. A bunch of people in the comments have been talking about how good their farm system is. Like, if you can get a developer, that's going to take you a long way, I think.
Like, I think it makes sense to have a coach who has somewhat of a timeline that kind of aligns with the roster on your team, which is like David Carl, if he needs to figure out the NHL game for like a year or two before he actually like, and I think David Carl can be a good coach immediately at the NHL level. I believe in him as a hockey coach. But like, if he needs any growing pains, he'll have it in Chicago. And I just think that sticking him with young players who he's proven to get the most out of, like, just throw the blank check at that guy.
Yeah, I mean, so blank checks we're giving to David Carl, we all agree, and we're giving to one of those two players, Rantanen or Mitch Marner. And I feel bad for the other wings on the market because I'm sure there are good wings that are going to be available. But Toronto obviously ended up staying in Anaheim. But if you get one stud wing, and this, granted, this is projecting Nazar to play as a second line center, which I don't know. They might want to still keep him at wing in his younger days. You could have like a good top six if you have Bedard and whoever that big signing is, and then on your second line you're doing some combination of Nazar and Bertuzzi and Teravainen, some like. Those are top six-ish players. And if on your first line, that also features Bedard and Rantanen or Marner, yeah, there's a bit of an identity that we can kind of glom onto. And you have young defensemen coming up. They've got money to spend. They need a coach. They need another star. Like I said, some quality is there. They just need way more quantity.
Yeah, I think that you're running out of time to fuck around. Like, you need to put together a respectable product on the ice, and doing so in like 6 months is not the easiest task in the world, but there's a lot of pressure on them to figure it out and turn things around.
There's a lot of interesting stuff in this, but The Athletic did put out an article, an agent survey, NHL agent survey, and Chicago is tied for third on the list of most unstable and poorly run franchises, behind the Anaheim Ducks at 2 and the Buffalo Sabres as the worst run franchise. And
how does that work?
Respectfully to the Anaheim Ducks, that seems like they should be behind those two teams.
Well, yeah, the Chicago's tied with San Jose, which I feel like is a little unfair to San Jose.
I think that's like a little West Coast slander.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of interesting stuff. Like, I won't get too far into it, but Minnesota is listed as Minnesota and Tampa are tied for the best front office to deal with which seems like because I don't know if that's just like Minnesota will hand out money to people and pay them for years after they're not relevant. I don't know.
That is interesting. I would not throw. I mean, maybe people just like Bill Guerin or something.
And the best run franchises are all Sun Belt teams: Tampa, Florida, Vegas, and Dallas.
I definitely see those teams being up there. Blackhawks, turn it around.
Figure it out.
Get it together, please. I mean, I once saw, I believe, was it at a Blackhawks game that Big Cat yelled, figure it out? Or was that
I think that was like was that a Lion? It was a football game, I think.
It was probably a football game. Big Cat's always watching football.
Yeah.
That guy's a Blackhawks head, though. So are we. We're trying to be. We believe in you. Get quality. I do quality on my prize picks. And do I win? I'm a bit of a Chicago Blackhawk when it comes to that. I lost 7 of my last 8 prize picks cards? Probably. Do I have 4 wins in my last 17? I'm not sure. But that's why I play. I go back and I play prize picks. And yes, it feels great to win because you could boost up your account and then you can play even more. But we wouldn't. If there were fear of losing, we would never play anything. I've been playing a lot of Scrabble recently. I don't know. I played Trouble recently.
Trouble banger.
Trouble's amazing because you can go up. Like I went up, I think, like 2-0. I had both of my guys home.
Mm-hmm.
Other person hadn't even gotten out yet.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna run away with it. Lost 4-2.
Bruins.
Yes,
Love
right.
A good board
Nice.
game.
I just straight up blew it.
Playing Trouble like the Bruins. You didn't. I don't think you mentioned this on the show, but like you sunk some money into a Scrabble board.
I did. Sean, you know about
Is
this?
it like
guy's got
a
money bags.
legit, like one of those?
I don't have money bags, actually. I feel very poor right now.
I'm spend it all on hockey jerseys and Scrabble boards.
Absolutely. That is exactly. I've been
and Fubo.
Yes, and YouTube TV. I'm getting both. Tomorrow there's going to be a Pro Shop Wars of Detroit, and like I'm getting hit by a bunch of bills for a bunch of different things. And as I was editing this, I was like, yeah, the whole like money's tight thing makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, hey, I don't like this. I can't tell. Well, I'll buy it so I have more time to figure out whether I like it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we do at Pro Shops, and you'll get Detroit Pro Shop Wars tomorrow. What we do with prize picks, we hit the ice. Because you can hit the ice this hockey season with Prize Picks, the best place to get real money action while watching your favorite sports. You can now win up to 1,000 times your money on Prize Picks. We call that 1000X in the biz. They offer MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. Prize Picks offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday.
Hey.
Each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25%. To provide even more value for your lineups. Yes, Sean?
Yesterday was Taco Tuesday, and the offer they had was LeBron James, the originator, or not the originator of Taco Tuesday, but the originator of the way that you say Taco Tuesday.
Yes.
He went apeshit yesterday.
He says it more offensive than I say it.
He used to. I don't think he does
Yeah.
anymore. I think his agent probably got to him and was like,
He like throws on. He like
where
puts on a
he just-
sombrero and says it. It's very problematic.
It was not probably. He was also problematic for the Dallas Mavericks defense last night because he crushed the lowered total that they offered on Taco Tuesday.
Well, you should crush the download button when you go to the app section of wherever you get apps and you download the Prize Picks app and use code WhatChaos to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code WhatChaos to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.
That's right. And if you're ready to optimize your nutrition this year, Factor has chef-made gourmet meals that make eating well very easy.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I'm not kidding. I am dead serious right now. They're dietitian approved and they're ready to heat and eat in 2 minutes. So you can fuel right and feel great no matter what life throws at you. Maybe a trade request. Factor arrives fresh and fully prepared, perfect for any active and busy lifestyle. You can also lose up to 8 pounds in 8 weeks with Factor Keto meals. Based on a randomized controlled clinical trial with Factor Keto, results will vary depending on diet and exercise, but boy, it makes trying to lose weight very easy. There's 40 options across 8 dietary preferences on the menu each week, so it's easy to pick meals tailored to your goals. You can choose from preferences like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, or, as previously mentioned, Keto. Factor helps you feel your best all day long with wholesome smoothies, breakfasts, grab-and-go snacks, and more add-ons. So reach your goals this year with ingredients you can trust and convenience that can't be beat. We use Factor. We just pop them in the microwave here at the office. 2 minutes, good to go. They're delicious. They don't taste like microwavable meals. They are so good. Eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/factorpodcast and use code FACTORPODCAST to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's Factor Podcast at factormeals.com/factorpodcast to get a whopping 50% off plus free shipping on your first box.
Sean's going to contribute a lot to this conversation, but Rob Ray has been relocated. He normally stands between the benches, and what keeps happening is he gets hit in the face with the puck. Sean, do we have the fuck call from him still? Whatever. He yelled, fuck. And then the broadcaster said, like, oh, Razor got hit again, because he keeps getting hit. Twice in the last 2 years, it has been a real problem for him. So he has been relocated to, I believe, Sean, he's been moved up and back, right?
Up and to the left.
Up and
back
to the left.
and to the left.
So farther away from pucks, still could get one the old-fashioned way, just like the quote-unquote Ariana Grande way.
They were making lots of jokes about that last night.
You would need Cody Ceci on the ice.
But that guy, yes, that guy has like a nose for it. It is that there is an attraction between the puck and that man's face, and it always happens like here. You ever he never gets it here,
just right between the eyes.
Anyway, he has been relocated, so he's safe there. But now he is around. He has easier access to food. Is the problem?
I don't think it's a problem.
It's good for me. I like that guy eats.
I famously one of my biggest pet peeves is hearing people eat and like loud chewers.
Real.
But Rob Ray had a goal call with a hot dog in his mouth last night. And just given Rob Ray's personality and the chaos that surrounds that guy, there's nothing that guy can do that is off limits to me on the broadcast.
Sean, do we have the audio of the goal? There was a goal, and then they're reacting to it after. And
not the audio of the goal, but we have Rob Ray doing play-by-play, essentially.
With food in his mouth.
Well, no, we have him doing play-by-play of him doing color with food in his mouth.
This is very confusing.
Let's do that.
It was not anything other than this right here.
You can't waste a good hot dog, buddy.
Everybody asks, what's it like to be on the road with Razor when you go out to dinner? There you go. That's it right there.
Yeah, see that? That was a goal.
I mean, horrible behavior to move the microphone back down to your face while you're still chewing.
Well, yeah, that's when the goal was scored. So that was him complaining about the Buffalo Sabres.
One of my pet peeves is people talking with food in their mouth. I can't do that. I fortunately don't have the thing that you and some other people have, where if you can hear any trace of whether it's someone's chewing gum or eating or whatever, that would fucking kill me, because I do have the thing of, if I don't like something and it gets stuck in my head, then my day's over.
I just need to leave.
So you would not be cut out for hangs with Rob Ray.
I mean, what am I going to say something to Rob Ray?
I will say,
I'm going to complain to him.
It was interesting because, shout out the audio engineers at MSG. You couldn't really hear him chewing. You could just tell that he had something in his mouth while he was talking.
Yeah, no, there wasn't smacking. Or anything.
I would have turned the game off.
Yeah. So there was something that happened recently where during a broadcast, somebody was smacking, or they were eating something. They were trying a concession or something, and they were eating it on the broadcast, and that was 1,000 times worse than what happened. He at least was palatable listening to him chew a hot dog and call a goal with his analysis. I will say, we all know Rob Ray is a brave guy, but to eat a hot dog on camera and eat it as aggressively as he did, respect, brother.
I mean, you could tell that Rob Ray is out of fucks to give and has been for a while, because most of that game he was up there being like,
Buffalo Sabres broadcaster, brother.
Exactly. He was like, I thought I was going to have friends. There's no one up here. It was completely empty. I was like, I don't know if Terry's thrilled about you saying that, but cool. And he was just up there the whole time. I was like, I don't know. I'm never going to go back down. I love this seat.
There
I
are
would not
palm trees.
expect the last row of Buffalo Sabres games in the 300 level to be jam packed.
I would.
Point.
They're the hottest team in hockey, other than the team that's won 10 games in a row.
They're the hottest team since the break.
Apparently, Sean, are people super chatting us to say stop talking about the Sabres?
No, that had to be about like the Blackhawks, right?
All right, from let's see, from Stacey Faye, we have I never have any money because I keep giving it all to you guys. Endearing.
Respect.
And from Matthew Brown, we have morale here in Carolina just feels shot. The team playing god awful, and we're probably gonna lose Mikko. I don't know, man. You got the Oilers in a couple of games, and the Oilers are just giving away points. So
But you
hang
have
tight.
the red hot Buffalo Sabres next.
Oh,
It is weird that like I feel like right now there's like a handful of teams where their fans feel good about them. Just a handful.
yes,
And
small number.
The Sabres are one of them.
They have won 6 of 7. They beat the Ducks last night 3-2. Ding, 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 ding. They are now 9th in the wild card by points percentage because the Penguins have played so many more games than them. But the Sabres have passed the Penguins in terms of points percentage. They
Job's
are
not
now
done.
knocking on the door of 500. They're
Job's
at
not done.
473. They are closing in on the Flyers and the Islanders, who are at 500. And that's the good thing about being bad. When you win a game, your point, like that is juicing your points percentage.
The problem too is that they they're not just kind of fluking their way to these wins. They look very, very good. They kicked the shit out of the Rangers. They came back from a 2-0 deficit against the Ducks. Like they look like a real hockey team.
Brother, they are getting massive performances from all the players you want to be showing out if you are the Buffalo Sabres. In their last 7 games, dating back to July 28th, Rasmus Dahlin, 12 points.
Dating back to when?
January 28th.
You said July 28th.
Did I?
Yeah, I was like,
Whatever. My bad. Rasmus Dahlin, I was like, I'll have a joke to make, but I didn't. Rasmus Dahlin, 12 points in 7 games. Tage Thompson, 3rd in the NHL in points per game with, I believe, 1.83 behind Matthew Tkachuk and somebody who's only played 2 games. I forget who it is. Alex Tucky, 9 points in 7 games. Tage Thompson, by the way, 6 goals in this stretch. 7 games, 8 points for Jason Zucker. JJ Peterka, 8 points. Even Owen Power, among many players with 6 points. Got a shout out, though. The leader in points behind Tage Thompson for this stretch, Ryan McLeod, 4 goals. He's fast and he can score.
Dylan
Love it.
Cousins went apeshit yesterday. I brought up a stat to you. The Sabres have 3 defensemen in the top 6 of points per 60 at even strength. UPL, good sometimes. Henry Jokiharju, that's your boy in the chat. It's February. Henry Jokiharju, he's like the best player on the planet all of a sudden.
I mean, we talked about Seth Jones doing some stuff to maybe expedite a trade. Maybe just the Sabres are playing well.
Everybody.
Just boosting the
That's
trade
I
value to
said
get out of
Dylan
town.
Cousins' value is all-time high. Dylan Cousins and Bo Byram for Quentin Byfield. Who says no?
As
Both
soon
those
as-
players
as
have
soon
6
as-
points.
As soon as the trade deadline passes, this team's falling off a cliff with the players that are still there.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
Somebody in the chat also mentioned the audio of something that Sean brought up earlier today. I don't know if we have like the actual audio of it,
Don't have
but
the audio now.
for some reason they were discussing eating waffles.
So it was like a Black History Night celebration. So they had a lot of like Black owned like restaurants and stuff selling food in the arena. That's
Okay.
the context of what it was.
But please explain what
Well,
happened.
no, they were so throughout the game, as you saw, Rob Ray was getting brought food, and so he had opportunities to try some of the special concessions that day. And at one point, he had chicken and waffles, and they were talking about it. And Dan was like, I've never seen a blue waffle before. And instantly, Rob was like,
I think they cut his mic.
what was that?
I think they cut his mic. Which,
they just kind of faded off.
yeah, you absolutely just have to not comment on that. Move on.
Yeah, it was definitely, I think, an honest mistake by Dan, and then they just had to keep it
Well,
moving.
assuming that they made the waffle blue, which like I'm assuming it was for the Sabres.
Probably, yeah.
Don't do that.
I mean, yeah, you probably shouldn't be making blue waffles, but like, also let's be mature. If you have a reason to make a blue waffle, let's
Just don't
enjoy
open
it
that
for
door.
what it is.
Just don't
But
do
yeah,
it.
Yeah, I feel you.
on the subject of broadcasters and saying things, let's play a game of what did Mickey Redmond say? Because famously the other day, we had an fuck out of the great Rob Ray. And last night in the Red Wings Wild game, we had this audio.
What the fuck, for goodness sake.
What did he say, Pete?
I mean, the first word sounded like the C word, and then it sounded like there was an F word in there.
Okay, so I saw that clip via somebody pointing the camera at their TV, and it was like someone on the Red Wings broadcast just said fuck. And I was like, oh man, I got to go get this. So I went to ESPN Plus. Sean and I listened to the whole setup in context, and it was the beginning of a face-off, and the ref was taking forever. There was a whole lot of like, hey, I'll toss you. You better watch it. Okay. Hey, what are you doing?
You say drop the puck?
So here is the clip in context.
So Rossi on this face-off against Compton. What the fuck, for goodness sake. Gee. You got somewhere to be? No, but look at this. What are we doing?
So he did not.
He said drop the puck, but it sounded like the inflection sounded like what the fuck.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And I'll say the clip in context is better, even when you know that he didn't swear. I should have clipped like the whole lead up to it, because it was like 15 seconds. As you're watching it, you're like, is there like a review going on or something? Like, what is this guy doing? So an old man, shout out Mickey Redmond, being like, oh my God.
Even if he had said, what the fuck, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Would have been better.
And knowing Mickey Redmond like the energy of Mickey Redmond does not throw the possibility of a what the fuck out the window.
And I love the Ken Daniels response of like, got somewhere to be, because Ken Daniels can't be loving that moment. But we don't. You brought this up. I said, Pete, before the show, make sure if you don't know about the Red Wings broadcast last night, don't learn anything. We'll play it on the show. And you were like, whatever it is, it's probably good. And we had a conversation about, not to the extent of like the Sportsnet crew in Edmonton, but we don't talk about the Red Wings broadcast enough.
It's the best.
It's
not the best.
Not the best.
It's not the best, but it is like a warm treat. It is it's not the best. It's not my favorite, but it's pretty close to my favorite.
If Prize Picks is your glass of wine, then this is your hors d'oeuvre, this is your appetizer before you get to the West Coast.
If Prize Picks is a glass of wine, respectfully, the Red Wings broadcast is like a glass of sharp whiskey.
It's fun.
It's
like
pigs in a blanket.
No. A cigarette is a good way of putting it, where like it can be fun. You want it from time to time, but sometimes you need something else. And if you were like, oh man, I really need a glass of water, and someone said, sure, let me, there you go. You'd be like, I don't fucking want a cigarette. I want a glass of water. If I go to watch a Red Wings game though, because ESPN Plus gives you both options, I always choose them. If I'm watching a Red Wings game, I'm getting myself into the mood. There was a time earlier this season where the Oilers were playing the Red Wings, and NHL Network did the cheapo thing of they had the game and they just played the Red Wings broadcast, knowing that somewhere there was a good broadcast happening that I could not hear. I wanted to die. But if I don't know what the other options are, ignorance is bliss. Give me Ken. Give me Mickey.
Yeah. My favorite broadcasts are the ones where you feel like you're actually like sitting with the announcers and watching the game with them.
And you are sitting on some frumpy ass bad chairs.
Dark living room.
Right.
Yes.
But they'll never get rid of it though. They're like, this is my chair. I like this chair.
Yeah, like that's their domain. And that's why I love the Red Wings broadcast so much, is because it feels like Ken Daniels is a great play-by-play announcer, and Mickey Redmond is like your bitchy old grandpa, and he just like chimes in with unfiltered thoughts and comments whenever he damn well pleases, and it is just the best, most entertaining experience.
Neil Simmons asks, is DJ a drunk SIGs guy? I definitely was once upon a time. I currently am not a drinker or a cigarette guy. I really got off, and this is tough because it's kind of dovetailed with Pete becoming a big pro cigarettes guy. But like, I went from loving cigarettes but never smoking them regularly, so feeling like I accuse you of stolen valor when you get into the cigarettes thing, where I'm like, you don't have a fucking problem, buddy. Some people have problems with these things. I've gone from like not being able to smoke them at all. Like I might never smoke a cigarette again, which is crazy because I used to drink as an excuse to order Domino's and smoke cigarettes.
I was telling you about my weekend the other day. My going to the disco, the glitter boys, dudes hanging out of rafters while it's raining when we're playing. That night was highlighted by a pack of American spirits.
Fuck yeah.
Nice. I love a good drunk cig.
I have packs of cigarettes all over my house with just like 2 or 3 missing because I constantly buy them and just smoke like 2.
Well, I like it because
this weekend it was the best.
I just hand those motherfuckers out. Like I'll buy a pack of cigarettes and like I'll be standing somewhere and like a girl will walk by and be like, "Can I have a cigarette?" I'll be like, "Yeah."
That's a cool move. Just being the guy with cigs.
Yeah, I love it.
Because
I'll end up smoking like 2.
I have a lot of Atlanta cigarette stories, but last time I went
Atlanta cigarettes?
Yes.
Nice.
Last time I went to Atlanta, me and one of my friends were just like, everyone smokes down here. Like, let's be adults about it and we'll just get cigarettes. And we just had packs of cigarettes for the week. It was the absolute best. But yeah, now I can't do a cigar anymore. I used to love cigars.
I love a cigar, yeah.
I never got to the point of like calling them sticks, but there's like a culture there that I know, kind of like with the cigarette thing. Like I know that even though I loved it, I'm like, I'm not actually in your club. I don't get up from dinner and go outside. You guys get to have fun with that. That's not really me.
My like main goal in life is to get a house in which I just have like a dedicated room that I can smoke inside.
Yeah, a cigar room or like I guess a cigar
We should go to a Tampa Bay Lightning game. They have a cigar lounge there.
All you need is a lot of plants and good ventilation.
Yeah,
you're set.
Say a lot of plants?
Yeah, plants are good to help filter air.
Really?
Yeah, that's like how the whole Earth works, kind of. Not to.
It's kind of how like the oxygen thing.
But it's like that's why they make a big deal about like deforestation and stuff like that, like
so
the Amazon.
Well, you never learned that in.
I did know, but I didn't think about it in the context of inside a house.
Yeah, I mean, it's not obviously it's a smaller scale thing, but having plants helps keep your air fresh.
All right.
The Bruins blew a 3-0 lead last night, lost in overtime to the Maple Leafs, who are now galvanized from that win. Mitch Marner, OT winner. Is he an OT merchant? That's the question many are asking. Another highlight of this game was that when Boston went up 3-0, viewers could not see it if they were watching on TV because Nesson cut to a Chipotle commercial. Here's the audio.
Lori's got it to Pasternak, right of the net, drilled out.
Chipotle's braised beef barbacoa might be our best kept secret. Slow cooked, responsibly raised beef, seasoned with garlic and cumin.
Rifles in his 19th, a power play goal. Bruins 3, Maple Leafs nothing.
Flawless.
Oh my God,
that's flawless.
The Bruins have so much trouble scoring this season, and then when we finally get a nice, awesome goal in the middle of a game in which they're playing well. Braised barbacoa, baby.
Can I say, Sean? Should have just spent the $50. If you want to see the goal, you want to make sure you see the goal?
Yeah, just go to the game.
Get him. Price was cheap last night. Was game time behind this?
I mean, now the Bruins. Oh, what happened? Oh,
keep going.
Oh, I didn't know if we lost power or not. The Bruins now, I think, own the 2 worst goal calls of the season. Because you had Trent Frederick plus 900. And now you missed the goal call because you got a Chipotle commercial. So shout out to Nesson. Fuck yeah, brother.
It really was a banner night of like things being said.
Whoops, I was trying to play the Chipotle thing, but my bad.
Oh, I don't know.
Of things being said?
Yeah, like, I mean, between that, the Red Wings broadcast, the Sabres broadcast, Luke Schenn, Seth Jones, like people were just... I guess
people were yapping last night.
Yeah. Nothing was said, or something was said.
The Chipotle VO guy, people were absolutely talking last night.
I fucking hate Chipotle commercials.
That was one of those things that I like. I got more mad at the Trent Frederick call than I got mad at that, just because that was so ridiculous that it made me laugh. That was so outrageous to get. The timing of it was fucking hilarious. As Morgan Geekie is winding up for a shot.
Beef barbacoa might be our best kept secret.
Literally, as it's about to hit his stick, you cut to like, and the commercial. The commercial itself is extremely funny because it just starts out with a black screen and it's a guy pulling a lid off of like a pan, and it's just his big ass goofy face.
I just can't, like, it seemed purposeful. Like, it was so, the timing of it was so, like, you couldn't, if you were trying to make it a joke, you could not have timed it better.
Right. And on the power play, too, especially where like puck movement is such a big thing, like the threat is that any of these guys could shoot as soon as they get the puck. Of course, it happened when the guy actually was shooting. Like, as you said, if somebody was trying to maliciously do this, they wouldn't have had the luck that fate did for us. The hockey gods.
I want to have like the Nesson production people on the show and just ask them like, what the fuck happened? Did they go to hit like the goal graphic or something and accidentally hit the wrong button and you send it to a Chipotle commercial?
It's like what
I mean, answers.
It's behind the scenes, I guess, but like what just happened when you couldn't see the thing. It's like a finger slips, you hit a button, and all of a sudden everything's fucked up. You got no idea what's going on.
We got to speed through some stuff in the final minutes of the show. Sean went micro-viral in Western Canada yesterday because I don't know why we were talking about this. Oh, I mean, probably because of Sean Monahan stuff?
Yeah,
maybe?
I was working on that Monahan clip.
But yeah, Sean was working on a Monahan clip, and he was like, damn, some of those Flames teams had some good players, huh? And then that took him to probably Hockey Reference, right? Looking at rosters.
And it's the Flames website. But yeah, I was looking at the roster.
It ended up yielding a topic that Pete and I have hit from time to time over the years, which is this tweet from Sean, which is, just took a look at the 2021-22 Calgary Flames roster, and oh my God, how did that team not win anything? Good question, brother. Do you have the roster?
Yeah.
Like, just give it to me. Give me some names.
Mikkel Backlund, Johnny Gaudreau, Dylan Dubé, Elias Lindholm, Milan Lucic, Andrew Mangiapane, Sean Monahan,
Blake Coleman,
Matthew Tkachuk, Tyler Toffoli. I accidentally have two of the same screenshot here, but
Calle Yarncrow,
Tanev, like
Trevor Lewis.
The team was.
Did you know it's Zadorov? Did you say?
Yeah, I accidentally messed up this graphic here, but yeah, Zadorov, Markstrom, and net. Like the team.
Lindholm, just as stacked as you could be, and delivered us such a. I mean, it was fun for me, but a disappointing Battle of Alberta in the second round. That was the longest 5-game series that's ever existed. We had the overtime winner. And was it for McDavid in game 5?
I don't remember, but
I just remember the joke that we made was that like you literally see Johnny Gaudreau like leave Calgary.
Yeah.
Like as like on that shift, you're like, this is all ending for this team.
And I don't know, Sean, I'm sure we've said this at some point, but like that series was essentially what started the show. Because that series
that's when
was we watched it all together because I was rooting very, very hard for the Calgary Flames. DJ bought me a Flames jersey for that series. And like, obviously he was pulling for the Oilers, but like I was full behind that Flames team knowing they were nasty. I picked them to win the Stanley Cup. So disappointing, but yeah, like bang on. That team should have won something.
It was a good question to ask, especially because a lot of people answered it. There was a lot of Leon Draisaitl on one leg is the answer to your question. Connor McDavid. I just liked some of these. You got the Drewski with the glass of wine, whatever it may be, where he's pissed and then slams it. I like the, what does that say? A smile might be good?
Yeah.
That's like the most, I don't know if the person who replied followed you or knew who you were, but that's something that you would tweet. A smile might be good. Nothing to smile about in my life.
Yeah.
Flames fans were all over that. And then, of course, I saw some Oilers fans resurfacing that incredible rap song. Do you remember the rap song?
Yes.
It was like, we got Noah Hannafin on our team and Johnny Gaudreau. Nothing bad is going to happen to this team. Chris Tanev rules. And some of them were bars. But, man.
Always a kiss of death.
There's some teams like 2011 Canucks, 2021-22 Flames, where I just want a docu-series on Canadian teams that should have done so much better than they did, and what the fuck happened. It was a great question for you to ask, Sean, and I'm glad that the internet had fun with it. Speaking of Canadian teams struggling, the Oilers suck right now. They've lost 4 straight in regulation. Their road trip has gone absolutely horrible. They have losses to the Avalanche. They have losses to the Capitals. They lost to the Lightning last night. I forget who else was in there. Oh, the Flyers. So, Avalanche, Flyers, Capitals, and Lightning. Evan Bouchard has been an absolute catastrophe defensively. Bad with the puck on his stick. Leon Draisaitl, I'm assuming, has scored in like 400 straight games. Last night, the ESPN broadcast was the first time I've heard people talking matter-of-factly about Leon Draisaitl's the best. So at least that was good. But the Oilers positively stink right now. They finished this road trip at Florida. And if you remember, they played a classic earlier in the season that the Panthers won. And then at Hurricanes. So Hurricanes in not a great way right now, but I don't know. Maybe chin up because the Oilers stink. It's bad for them right now. I saw some suggestion, and I agree with it, that they just probably think it's the beginning of a new season because they've been off for a little bit.
That's true.
So they're like, we're bad now. But it seems to not matter because on the broadcast last night, I forget who it was probably Bucci. He was like, Oilers hoping to get 2 points out of this one so I can get back into first place in the Pacific. And I'm like, they still are like fringe first place-ish? It doesn't matter. Whatever. We know they're still going to be a very good team in the end. But you were reading through a Nick Kyprios piece?
Yeah, just seeing what it was all about.
Yeah, just trying to reading for the articles?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I don't have the quote, but you said that there was a suggestion that on the Oilers' radar is a goaltender named Jordan Binnington. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, with Florida and Carolina still ahead of Edmonton on their current road trip, what would another bad loss or two do for President Jeff Jackson and GM Stan Bowman, and how confident are they in their goaltending? Jordan Binnington appears on this list, and the Oilers will have to think about him. I'll tell you right now, and this will not shock you. If Jordan Binnington ends up on the Oilers, buddy, I love you, but you will not catch me dead rooting for the Edmonton Oilers in any capacity.
Sean, your thoughts? You don't care about Jordan Binnington.
No, I don't really have a dog in this fight, although I have discussed earlier in the season that the Oilers have gotten on my nerves at points over the last calendar year, really. So if they want to, it would be nice to agree with, to root with Pete, I guess, on something as opposed to rooting against him.
Might be our best kept secret.
Enough of that.
What are your thoughts on Jordan Binnington?
No, I mean, I do want to get back to that, but I am getting sick and tired of here's who the Oilers will get in goal. I would love for the Oilers to upgrade their goaltending. That would be fantastic because even though Stuart Skinner was very good in the final 2 rounds of the playoffs last year, I agree that he is wildly inconsistent and that when he is bad, he is usually very bad and early on, and it typically puts his team in a big hole. So yes, if the team wants to upgrade at goaltender, sure, do it. I don't know how you make the money work, but that's for people smarter than us. What frustrates me is the 2 names that I hear when it comes to upgrading the Oilers' goaltending does not really upgrade the Oilers' goaltending. If you are going to allocate what few coins you have towards the goaltender position, instead of defense, instead of adding another wing, then get a goalie who is clearly better. And the 2 names, Binnington and John Gibson, do we know that both of those guys are definitely better than Stuart Skinner, and so much better that the opportunity cost of not adding on defense, where I would much rather you upgrade, is so strong that it doesn't matter that you're not doing those things? Over the last 3 seasons, save percentage, John Gibson, .899, Stu Skinner, .914, 2023-24, John Gibson, .888, Stu Skinner, .905. This season, John Gibson, .916, Stu Skinner, .898. So yes, he's bad this season. Jordan Binnington, last 3 seasons, 894, 913, 899. Stu Skinner and Jordan Binnington are having identical seasons. The thing that you would get Binnington for is, well, he can go off in the playoffs. You know who can go off in the playoffs? Stuart Skinner. So I'd be okay with somebody other than Stuart Skinner in net for the Oilers this postseason. I'm just saying if you're going to do that, get somebody who is definitely better.
I think that John Gibson is definitely better. And I think that Jordan Binnington, as inconsistent as he is has a higher ceiling, especially in big games, than Stuart Skinner. As much as I dislike Jordan Binnington, like their track record is there. He can be a dog and he's a gamer. And like I like Stuart Skinner and I agree with like what you're saying, but you just can't fucking trust him. And you can't. And
can you trust Jordan Binnington?
No, you can't. But like
that's all my point is.
Yeah, no, like if that's your point, then that's fine. And I don't think that like the Blues are going to rush to trade Jordan Binnington anyway. I'll throw this name out there. This could be an option. I don't know if the Canucks would want to trade him. I know he's injured right now, but a Thatcher Demko, like they just signed Kevin Lankinen. Does Thatcher Demko do it for you as a potential target?
I cannot see that trade happening.
I can't see it happening.
There's just no way it would happen. I'm going to echo what Ryan Lambert brought up with us probably a few weeks ago at this point, where there's a small number of very good goalies. And then there is a large number of good goalies. And then there's like a bunch of mediocre guys. And the players that we're talking about right now, those three, are in the good goalie to elevating beyond when they're really good. And man, it just, to me, it's spending to replace one scratch ticket with another scratch ticket. And I don't know if that's a good risk. I understand that there's risk with going into the postseason with the shaky goaltender, which is what Stu Skinner has absolutely been this season. But if you get Jordan Binnington, you're going into the postseason with a shaky goaltender. I would love a Binnington-Stu combo.
Yeah.
That'd be shit luck for Calvin Pickard, who has done everything right since he got called up last year. But again, is that should you be doing that instead of getting a wing or defense? I lean no, but I'd be into the combo. I'm not into, hey, they have replaced Stu Skinner with Jordan Binnington, or they've replaced Stu Skinner with John Gibson, and now they have upgraded. Because really, have you?
Yeah, that was the conversation that we had like a week or two ago, where it was like they don't necessarily need a Skinner replacement. They need to upgrade their goaltending, and if that means getting somebody that maybe you feel better about turning to when things go south for Skinner in the playoffs, then I think that that's an option, or vice versa, like that you can turn to Skinner if it goes south for the other guy. Like I think they need to reinforce, and I don't know how they do it, but that wasn't even the craziest part of that Kyprios article.
Yeah, we'll get to that. WTG Paul misunderstood me or is on some weird sort of trip and says, I love how DJ says Skinner and Binnington are the exact same the last 3 years, and his feelings towards them couldn't be more opposite. I just gave you the stats. I did not say Skinner and Binnington have been the exact same the last 3 years. Skinner has been a lot better than Jordan Binnington the last 3 years. So let's put that in our cigarette and smoke it. Will ya?
I also think that you have to consider, when you're considering those three guys, the teams that they play on, specifically John Gibson.
Yeah.
Like John Gibson has played behind a Ducks team that has been ass and has left him out to dry almost every single night for years at this point. And yes, his numbers haven't been very good, but like they're a better team this year, and his numbers are very solid.
Now, the question becomes, would you root for Jordan Binnington if he were the goaltender of your team? This isn't an Oilers thing. This isn't a Bruins thing. This isn't a whatever. Like, let's grow the fuck up. If a player is on your team, you root for them. And you're not always happy about it. And sometimes you have to talk yourself into, okay, I guess I like this guy. But you're rooting for the team. So you're rooting for, not to go Dave Chappelle, Donald Trump, but like, if you are rooting for your team, yeah, you want the goaltender to play well. What am I going to quit liking the Oilers because they got a goalie who's a psychopath. I've liked the Oilers when they've had goalies who
I was going to say, it wouldn't be the first time in recent history they've had a goalie that's a psychopath.
Right. It's just a different, it's just, and I definitely don't hate Jordan Binnington to the extent that Pete hates him. I don't even hate Jordan Binnington. I just would rather not replace one lottery ticket with another lottery ticket. If you want to add him and you make it like, let me see the trade, I'll have my thoughts on it from there. But yeah, like I wouldn't bail because they got a goalie I didn't love. Let's get back to your little thing about the Oilers, because maybe it's my fault that maybe I'm shoving Oilers stuff in your face, but
no, never.
I don't think the Oilers have done anything to you, Sean, other than Chris Knobloch taking a shot at the Sabres.
Yeah, and I got a little annoyed with how Oilers fans were behaving after the Connor McDavid, Connor Garland thing. And I didn't really have much of it against Jordan Binnington before, but now that he beat Team USA, I have to hate him a little bit. So that would be another like, I was kind of indifferent towards the Oilers, generally speaking, and that would tip them into the enemy territory.
If there's one thing I know about Sean, it's he enjoys being a hater more than he enjoys rooting for something.
I say, oh yeah.
So if Jordan Binnington is on his hater radar,
yeah,
I love that.
That is an accurate description. I say it all the time. I hate the Yankees more than I like the Red Sox. Like I'm a hater at heart.
And I will admit that, and I love my Oilers fans, but that whole thing made it very easy because Oilers fans were basically forced, as was Connor McDavid, to do the like, we're talking about how I'm a dirty player. Okay, here's all the shit that we can complain about. And what ended up happening was headline, here's all the shit that Oilers fans and Connor McDavid are complaining about. So out of context, or I guess we just kind of skipped past why there was so much stuff about Connor McDavid is treated so poorly or whatever. That stuff would not have been brought up if there weren't a conversation about like, oh, the league's not going to punish him. They're going to let it slide. And like, the league did punish him.
Well, I mean,
did something
that
he shouldn't
wouldn't
have
have
done and he
come
got
up.
punished for
That
it.
wouldn't have come up if days before he didn't do something that he should have been punished for. And
That's what if McDavid doesn't do the cross check, we don't get talk about the league doesn't punish him enough. If we don't get talk about the league doesn't punish him enough, we don't get the pushback of the league doesn't protect him enough. And then you end up having a story.
Play the Chipotle song.
Yeah. Then you end up having a conversation about like you're crying for somebody who does not need any tears shed for him because he actually has it quite good. The other thing from the Kyprios piece is that Nick Kyprios hears the Kings, this is from him, I hear the Kings are desperate to shake things up to give themselves the best shot of getting out of the first round of the playoffs and not suffer another defeat against Edmonton. Let me interject. You're not automatically playing Edmonton. Quentin Byfield isn't a name we've heard come up in trade rumors until this week, but suddenly he could be in play. Perhaps he is the player Los Angeles can move to change their look for an opening playoff round. That's stupid, and that's not happening.
Yeah. First of all, like, I think the Kings are a good hockey team. Like, if they do nothing and they go into the first round, whether it's against the Oilers or any other team, I think the Kings have a shot of winning. I think they're a good hockey team. The West is tough, not guaranteeing that they get out of the first round. I like the Kings this year. They're a good team. They play hard. They play pretty well defensively. They could score a little bit more, but the last person that I'd be trying to trade if I was the Los Angeles Kings is Quentin Byfield, because he's been really good at points this year. I think he's like coming off one of his better games when he stuck him with Fiala and Kempe, and I would love to see that line get more play. But he is your like number one center of the future. Who are you trading him for that put you in a better position to win this year and better positioned moving forward? Especially when he's locked up at a very reasonable price.
He is 22 years old. He is on a 5-year contract with what? Like an AAV?
6.25, I believe.
6.25. Sweetheart of a deal. He's not having the best year, but he's repeating sort of the year that he had last year. He is playing center for them, which was a question. How are they going to use him? Would they keep him at right wing, or would they have him become their center of the future? The plan is that he is eventually going to replace Andrei Kopitar as this team's number one center. Do you know what the Boston Bruins would do to have had a stud center waiting in the wings to eventually replace Patrice Bergeron and David Krejci? Succession plans with star players rarely go well. You think, oh, well, we'll figure it out. Well, once we know for sure they're leaving, then we'll draft a guy, and then maybe it never works. The Kings might be able to do that.
Yeah.
As you said, I don't know what you are getting back, but if you're getting like multiple studs, maybe. But he's a great young player. He's beloved by the team. This is a player the team drafted second overall. This is a homegrown guy who's awesome, who has a fun name because he was named after Quentin Tarantino.
That's
so
right.
Do not trade him.
And like, if you're the Kings, I don't think you want to rock the boat that much either. Like, you want to reinforce. You don't want to change the DNA of your team and change your team's future plans. Got to mention, we had Cam Robinson on the show last week, and you praised his reporting this year. He says Quentin Byfield potentially being made available for trade. Speaking to several sources around the league, the unanimous answer was that this name is not currently on the market. Quote, not that we've heard. I'd love it, though. Yeah, like 31 teams would love it if Quentin Byfield was on the market.
I'm glad you didn't provide context, but I eventually figured out that that I'd love it, though, was not from Cam.
No.
I thought it was like end quote, end tweet with,
I love
it, though. I hope these guys are lying, though.
Quoting yourself in your own tweet would be very funny.
Yeah, source tells me blah, blah, blah. I don't believe them. Just go from there. Sean, hit me with the slate grade, if you will. The slate. Give me the slate. What do we have for the slate? We got a light slate, boys. We have the Jets, the Senators. That's 7 p.m. Eastern in the United States and Canada. That is a, fuck me, I don't know. Devils at Avalanche at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. 10 p.m. Eastern in the United States and Canada. The Canucks and Kings are going to tuck us in, and I know what you're thinking, folks. Isn't the last game of like most slates Canucks at Kings?
I think so. You could convince me that these two teams play each other like 16 times a year.
All the schedule is Flyers Islanders at 7:30 and Canucks Kings at 10 p.m. You cannot convince me otherwise. This is not a good slate.
Oh,
but all three, well, it's not deep, I should say. All three of the games are good.
Yeah.
So it is a good slate. It's not a substantial slate. It goes down easy. It's a nice Wednesday slate, I'll tell you.
I do like I don't hate the structure too, because you got a 7 p.m. Hopefully that game's good because it's all you're getting until 9:30. But then 9:30 starts, and then you've got a 10 o'clock game, but it's on TNT, which means that it's a 10:30 p.m. game. So you've got a pretty good structure with three pretty good games.
That first game is the Jets and Senators is a Sean McEachern Bowl,
nice,
I believe. And the Devils at Avalanche is it's a Mackenzie Blackwood Bowl and a Scott Wedgwood Bowl.
Is that a Tomas Tatar Bowl?
It should be.
Did Tatar play for Colorado?
Yes, I'm almost positive.
It's also Valerie Nichushkin will be back after 20-something games.
I mean, that's stunning to me. I won't lie. I kind of forgot that whole thing was happening.
Well, did you know that Gabe Landeskog is also on the Colorado Avalanche? He might come back soon.
Eventually.
So I've heard every time we talk about the Avalanche. Don't forget, Landeskog could be coming back.
It is amazing.
Sure.
Kings Canucks is a Felix Potvin Bowl. Nice. I love me some Felix the Cat, and I love me a slate grade. This is an easy one. It's an easy A-, but it's still good.
Yeah.
It's just
I'm not kicking it out of bed.
Yeah. Okay. WTG Paul redeems themselves with what is this? Dress like an idiot slate day. Love that. Jay Edwards notes the Jets are going for 11 in a row. Rooting for them. Rooting for the Kyle Connor resurgence after his stock was tanked. But I'm also rooting for the Sabres to be the hottest team in hockey. So I think I'm going to be going Senators in this one.
No, we can have both.
Shoot,
they are the hottest team in hockey, and the Sabres are the hottest team since the break.
Who are you rooting for in this game, though? Because the Jets winning would keep them the hottest team in hockey, but the Jets winning would also help the Sabres'
Yeah,
chance of
definitely. I don't
catching
care.
the Senators.
The Sabres are not the hottest team in hockey.
Sabres don't want to be the hottest team. in
No,
hockey.
they have
Too much
several
heat on
teams
them.
ahead of them, but they are the hottest team during the break, and that's all I care about. And also, I hate the Ottawa Senators, so I would, of course, definitely rooting for the Jets.
Would you say the Sens can go fuck themselves?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, shout out
You and Jay Baruchel.
Jay Baruchel, Sean, handshake meme. What a show, folks. Pete, give the folks some instructions.
Please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not already. We would very much appreciate the subscription. It costs you absolutely nothing. Just supports the boys and gets some of our videos right into your feed. Love that. And if you've enjoyed the show, hit that thumbs up button right below the video player. That is the like spike. We want it. We want that like. Give us that like, thumbs up. And if you're on audio, please hit us with 5 stars and maybe a nice review if you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. I don't think Spotify does reviews, but if you hit 5 stars, it helps us rise those charts and get us some visibility. So we've got the trade deadline coming up. We're going to have plenty of rumors. And Nick Kiprios, keep at it, brother. We're loving this shit. It's feeding our souls. So yeah, stay tuned. We're going to have a lot of good stuff. And we're going to Stadium Series this weekend. So stay tuned. Videos, audio, all that good shit right in your feed.
We have so much good stuff planned for Stadium Series. I can absolutely not wait. We might do a little Pro Shop Wars, and there's going to be a new Pro Shop Wars hitting the YouTube tomorrow. It's going to be Pro Shop Wars Detroit. There is a section of it that is just called Octopus. So get ready. It is so much fun. And also, as Pete said, the deadline is coming up. That also means that next week is the trade deadline stream. I'm talking about painting. We're going to be painting bigger and better than we ever have. We are going to have water. There is going to be dinosaur costumes.
You got to make it clear. It's a 24-hour.
Water always is clear, Sean.
No, a 24-hour stream. We've grown a lot since the last time we've done one. Not everybody's good. Might
24 hours. The only trade deadline coverage that's carrying you 24 hours straight. And we may not talk about
We
trades.
do have the leading coverage.
That's right.
Especially from like hours like 10 p.m. at night to 7 in the morning, I would say no one comes close to us in terms of trade deadline coverage.
I would say nobody comes close to us for the full 24 hours.
That's also true.
Are we going to, did we decide, are we going to do the Rower Hour?
The what?
It's an hour. I just can't put that now. It's an hour where we are fully in dinosaur so that we can only roar at each other, and all text on the screen has to be roar. So if a trade happens, it's just going to be like headshot of Mikko Rantanen, and it says like rawr, Devils rawr.
I feel like we do have to get our hands on like actual Bop It, like legit full Bop It.
Full Bop. That is a real Bop It.
No, it's not.
That is a real Bop It. There is Bop It Extreme.
Okay,
which
well that's
adds
what
more
I grew
into
up
the
with.
mix.
That's what I
grew up with Bop It Extreme.
Yeah.
What?
Got all the bells and whistles.
I remember when Bop It
Extreme
came out.
Bop It Extreme
Two
is
hands.
like the Cybertruck
It's
wheel.
like a steering wheel.
Yeah, you got the
that whips out the
flick
window.
it, twist it, spin it.
No, we do the real Bop It. We do, like, if there were a Bop It competition, which I'm sure there is, they're doing the real Bop It.
If there's a Bop It
doing the
competition,
OG.
I think they do the extreme.
You sure about that?
I mean, I bet you there are.
That's like saying if there's a Doritos eating competition, that they do the 3D ones.
Well, what we should do is we should just have X Games mode for an hour. And during X Games hour, we just do the most extreme version of a bunch of games.
Someone says that we have to do a Velociraptor bark when a trade goes down. Okay.
Historically accurate.
Yes. We will talk to you tomorrow. And that what?
There is Bop It World Championships. They use Bop It Extreme.
Wow.
Fuck me.
Damn.
I don't know if
Bop
I'd be good at. I would be good at Bop It Extreme.
You
but
would
I'm not
or
a
wouldn't?
choker.
Oh.
What were you gonna say?
I just
Probably
didn't
gonna
hear
be-
if you said would or wouldn't.
Oh no, I'd be good, and then I would choke like I absolutely fucking choked last year.
Okay, there's actually this. I'm looking at a video of it. This is weird. It's like a 2-man. One guy grabs the other side, other guy grabs the other side, and they like take turns going back and forth on the same Bop It.
That's
so
crazy.
I think it's like a last man standing kind of sudden death type of vibe. It's also
that's
there's
crazy.
Teams. I don't know. Look up Bop It World Championships.
2 men bopping off.
Yeah, 5 feet apart
because they're not gay. All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.